What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Kings related podcast, wherever you may be. Thank you, as always, for joining me for another edition of the show. If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you give us a follow over on Apple Podcasts or whatever your favorite podcast app is. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. The Sacramento Kings got their 14th win of the season, and this was Sacramento Kings basketball the way it ought to be for now and until the end of the season. Because it wasn't the veterans. The Kings are down 6 guys, and they still won on a second night of a back-to-back. And it wasn't the veterans. It was your young players who got it done. Daquan Plowden. And I know Precious Achiuwa, not young, but it wasn't any of the vets. And both teams were scorching hot offensively early on in this game. And not long into the game, the Kings scored on a handful of consecutive offensive possessions. They led 17-12 in just the 5 minutes of this basketball game. Precious already have scored, I believe it was 6 or 7 points early. Max Raynaud recorded 6 straight for the Kings. One more 7-0 run later, and the Kings jumped out to a 2018 lead early in this game. But it was Marshall for Dallas who led the comeback for the Mavs. Like, getting downhill, playing through the contact as he started the night 5 for 5 for Dallas. And then the Mavericks put together a 9-0 run themselves, bringing it back to a 4 or 5 point deficit in favor of the Sacramento Kings. Offensive rebounds went a long way in the final moments of the first quarter. Sacramento ended that first on a 12-2 run. They led 42-28 after the first. They shot 56% from the field. Achiuwa had 14 points in that first quarter and 6 rebounds. You had 8 points for Max, 7 for Clifford in that after the end of the first quarter. Absolutely incredible the way this team came out to start this game on the second night of a back-to-back. And with all the injuries, you're seeing Eubanks getting more run. He scored 6 points in a hurry off the bench, mostly off those Rashawn Holmes-esque patent push shots that we saw Holmes do while he was here in Sacramento. He had 6 straight points as the Kings' lead extended to 53-37 in that second quarter. And once again, for Dallas, it was Najee Marshall who was the one trying to keep Dallas close in this game. 20 points with roughly 6 to 5 minutes to play in the first half. And the Kings offense started slowing down towards the end of that second quarter. And it was most noticeably on the offense kind of was showing the wears and tears of that second night of a back-to-back. But by the midway point of that second, you had Precious had 21 points, the most in a half of his career, and the Kings were up 68-56. Incredible. Like at the halftime, like just looking at the box score here, yeah, it was 68-56. Max had 10 points. Drew Eubanks 9 off the Kings bench. Clifford had 7 points off getting the start tonight. Like you had a starting backcourt tonight of Devin Carter and Nique Clifford tonight with all the injuries and the 6 guys that were out for the Kings. You had no Russell Westbrook in this game. Of course, no Zach, no Sabonis, both out with injuries. And in that third quarter, you saw the effects of the Kings playing on the second night of a back-to-back, because you saw the Dallas Mavericks starting to fight and get back into this game, playing faster than the Kings for a period of a stretch there. And the Kings guards, Devin, Clifford, having quiet nights. Nique Clifford was struggling from the field in this game for most. Devin Carter showed off his bounce that we've seen at times in his career here in Sacramento. We saw that a few times in this game, but he struggled with turnovers in this game. Malik's, who was questionable coming into tonight's game, his shots weren't falling. DeMar DeRozan simply didn't attempt many shots in this game. And then you had the Dallas Mavericks going on an 11 run to cut the Kings' deficit to 3 and getting over the slump and re-finding their energy. Devin Carter threw down a nasty put-back dunk after Precious missed a downhill attempt to cap off a 10-0 run for Sacramento in that third quarter. And this was a definition of a game of runs. Dallas puts together a nice run stretch of their own, and then you had Sacramento respond with a run of their own, and with both the Kings and the Mavericks recording 32 points in that third quarter. So it was absolutely incredible to see. Daquan Plowden had himself a game tonight showing off. And it's an opportunity for a guy like Plowden and the Kings, who need all the help they can this season and towards the end of this year. Speaking of opportunity, Precious Achiuwa, somebody, again, who wasn't even on this roster at the beginning of the year. Scott Perry calls him up off his couch. And the Kings, who needed length, athleticism, physicality early in the season, and with all the injuries that they have dealt with this year, Scott Perry makes that phone call. Precious is a free agent, and he's been an absolutely gem this year. And Achiuwa, he was the star in this game. A career high 29 points and 12 rebounds in this game. Nique Clifford picked up another start in this game with all the injuries, and he looked confident from the jump. Thought he attacked the paint well, finished in traffic. 13 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, and 2 steals in this game. 6 of 19. Not great shooting from the tough night from him shooting, but the one thing about that is he was aggressive, and that's what Nique Clifford needs to be here as we wind down this season. Be aggressive. That's what I want to see from Clifford here as we end this regular season and go into this off season. Max Raynaud, just continue to keep building on a strong season. Rough night last night in Houston against the two-time All-Star and Şengün. Tonight, Max scored in double figures for the 10th time in the last 12 games. Like, he's averaged 9.7 that stretch of games, and the rookie is providing consistency in those games. And ever since he's been given the extended minutes because of the Sabonis injury, and in a sea of, on a team of inconsistent players this season, 22 points and 6 rebounds for Max in this win over the Dallas Mavericks. Devin Carter, who was your starting point guard tonight, this is an opportunity for Devin to prove that he can be a piece for this team moving forward. And a season that hasn't gone as planned for him last season and this year, but he got another start tonight. Again, just like Clifford, Devin did not shoot the ball well early in this one, but I thought he played under control. He played team ordinary basketball against this short-handed Mavs team. And Devin finished with 15 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals in this game. Much better. He didn't even play last night, I don't believe. I don't think he played last night in that blowout loss. But Daquan Plowden, two-way guy. Another two-way guy for the Kings. And Sacramento, if not one of the only teams to have success with their two-ways this year and last year and the year before that. But Daquan Plowden is getting a shot, an opportunity. That's going to be the theme of this recap and for the rest of the season is opportunity. Because that's what every player on this team is getting, an opportunity to prove themselves. And Plowden, this is his second game on this road trip where he's showed up big. Happened in Memphis to snap that losing streak, and it happened tonight in Big D. And he's getting an opportunity to earn his way on an NBA roster and in the NBA, and he isn't taking it lightly. And he came off the bench for Doug Christie and the Kings tonight, and he instantly provided a spark. 19 points, 7 of 7 shooting with 4 rebounds in this game. And let's talk about the 10-day contract, guys. A 10-day contract is brutal. And Killian Hayes, he's trying to make the best of the situation. And he's 24 years old, same age as Nique Clifford. He does a nice job pushing the tempo and looking ahead for his teammates out on the run. His shots, they just aren't falling right now. But he's moving the ball, and he's also playing defense, which this team has lacked all season, and they have lacked the last 2 years. So another opportunity for Killian Hayes to prove that he can stick on an NBA team. So Kings, they kept it simple, but this is Sacramento Kings basketball the way it ought to be. Plowden, Clifford, Raynaud, Achiuwa, Carter, no veterans. The Kings won this game because of the young guys showing up and playing well tonight on a second night of a back-to-back. Kings make a run, Dallas responds. And then the Kings respond to the Dallas run. These are wins that I will take because it's the young guys that are getting it done and keeping it simple. And the Kings took care of the ball tonight. 5 turnovers in this entire game? They had 76 points in the paint, and they played together and the young guys continue to develop as a team as they rolled into Dallas, and they knocked off the Mavs for their second win on this road trip, and now they're 15-47 on the season. And now you close out this road trip Sunday in Los Angeles against the Lakers. Should be fun. And we're not talking about the veterans. This is what the Kings basketball should be. Letting the young guys play, develop, and winning on their own. The beam is lit for the 10th time this season in the Sacramento sky. Just absolutely beautiful. It was fun to watch too. The young Kings are fun again. We're back at it on Sunday following the Kings and the Lakers for another post-game recap. So tune in for that. And if you enjoy this podcast, make sure you give us a follow over on Apple Podcasts or whatever your favorite podcast app is. And a reminder, we are a video podcast on Spotify and YouTube. So by all means, please catch that video feed, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. But until next time, thank you as always for joining me on the Kings related podcast and this post-game recap. We will see you next time following the Kings and the Lakers for another post-game recap. And as always, go Kings and light the